Good evening and welcome to episode 3 of Just Winning. I'm your host, Jon Whitley. I'm joined today by Robert Husby. Robert, how are you doing today?
Doing good, John. Excited to talk football. Football season's back. Best time of year. Ready to get into it.
It is great to have football back. On my other side, I have Quentin Rodriguez. Quentin, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good, man. I'm just excited to make my hitting the field debut. Excited to be with you guys on Just Winning. And yeah, I'm ready to talk my favorite sport, which is football.
Awesome. So we saw a disappointing weekend from the Bucs and Tom Brady. Let's not get into that. That's been beat to death. Let's talk about Tom Brady's former team, the New England Patriots. Cam Newton, 15 for 19, 155 yards, and 15 carries for the injury-prone Cam Newton for 75 rushing yards. Robert, what did you take away from this performance?
Yeah, I mean, this is a good debut for Cam Newton. It shows how, him and Josh McDaniels need to get on the same page. And, I think with Cam Newton, I don't know if it's sustainable with, him rushing so much and carrying the ball himself, especially with the Bill Belichick team. I don't know if he's going to let him do that so much week in and week out just because of Cam's injury history. Like you said, he is injury prone. But no, I mean, great debut from Cam. Big win for them over a division rival. I don't know what people expect out of the Dolphins this year, but listen, this Patriots team had a lot of opt-outs, and they're playing with the house money right now. There's not a lot of huge expectations from them, and him, Cam Newton, and the Patriots, I thought, really exceeded expectations. So great first week from him. Hopefully it's sustainable, and he can get back on track and really prove it this year.
Quentin, what did you think?
No, definitely. I feel like the Patriots were able to kind of silence some folks. I mean, especially me. I really wasn't too much of a fan of Cam Newton actually going over to the New England Patriots, but he surprised me. He played really well, like we said. He didn't have over 20 passing attempts. Maybe it was kind of just, I would like to see them throw the ball a little bit more. Maybe it was just kind of the game plan. Miami does have a much improved secondary with the addition of Byron Jones, but Cam Newton was running the ball a lot. But like we did talk about, he is a little bit of injury prone, and then Cam Newton, whenever he runs, he's not looking to go out of bounds. He's very a physical runner. So we're just definitely going to have to see. And I would like to see maybe a little bit more of the running game incorporated to try to take a little bit of pressure off of Cam Newton. And maybe when they get down in the red zone, they could get a little bit more creative, such as like some read options with their plethora of backs, with their tandem of backs that they have, such as James White, as well as Sony Michel. So just looking for a little bit more creativity out of the Patriots, but I'm pretty sure they'll be able to get it all figured out by the season's end.
Awesome. It's all great to see a healthy Cam Newton. Certainly something to keep our eye on. Let's get into the bad man, that is Aaron Rodgers.
Bad man.
32 for 44, 364 yards, and 4 touchdowns on a year where they drafted his replacement. Robert, what did you take away from this performance?
Classic Aaron Rodgers. I mean, this is the Aaron Rodgers you need. You need a fired-up Aaron Rodgers, an angry Aaron Rodgers. With the Jordan Love draft pick, I thought that really kind of soured him. You could see he was a little bit mad that they didn't take a wide receiver to give him some supporting help. But listen, this is the Aaron Rodgers you want. Maybe they were playing some 4D chess here where they said, you know what, we need Rodgers to get playing like he used to be. He's a little bit older now. He's in his mid-30s. Still a great, fantastic quarterback, but we need to get him in a groove. We need to get a fire lit under him. And I think it has. At least for week 1, he had a fire lit under him, and he really took it to the Vikings. I mean, had one of his best games in a long time. So I think if this is the Aaron Rodgers we get this year, this Packers team has a very, very bright season, and it's going to be good to see because Aaron Rodgers, when he is on, he can take them to, some great heights.
Awesome. Quentin, what did you think?
Definitely. I mean, it kind of makes you think that, what type of numbers would he be putting up if he did have a little bit more help around him? Because, I mean, just look at the receivers that were taken the latter half of the first round. We look at Brandon Ayuk. We know that's a guy who could spread the field, catch the ball. He does good things with the ball in his hands. Chase Claypool, who had a very impressive Monday night debut. Michael Pittman Jr., KJ Hamler, who's also another speedster. So just imagine if they did have another wide receiver to complement Devontae Adams, who absolutely ate with 14 catches, 156 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Aaron Rodgers is just proving that he is a bad man all by himself. So
absolutely.
It's definitely, I do agree with what Robert said. They definitely lit a fire under him, and then especially against Minnesota Vikings defense as well. And then we got to think of it on the road, even though there was no fans in the stands. On the road, these teams are very familiar with each other. Minnesota's Vikings secondary is pretty good with Mike Hughes back there, and Aaron Rodgers had a field day against them. And I would say if Aaron Rodgers keeps this up, the rest of not only the NFC, but the entire league should be on notice.
Absolutely. It certainly made me very nostalgic to see Aaron Rodgers play this way. Peak Aaron Rodgers form.
Yes.
Devontae Adams' performance sort of reminded me of a peak Jordy Nelson.
Yeah.
Great to see. Let's get into the Sunday night game. As a media, we love to overreact to everything the Cowboys do, and that's sort of the story from that game. But we have our LA guy here, and the Rams are just 2 years removed away from the Super Bowl. Robert, tell us what you took away from the Rams' performance.
Yeah, I mean, just the Rams locking it down. I mean, I thought the Rams really did not get it done in the red zone. They had a chance to go up at least 21 points early in the first half and just could not convert in the red zone. Had to settle for a field goal. Missed a field goal from the rookie Sam Sloman. But the Rams' defense really adjusted in the second half. Started off terribly. Had a lot of blown coverages, but second half locked it down. Jordan Fuller was a standout rookie out of Ohio State. Jalen Ramsey had a huge game, locked up Amari Cooper pretty well. I thought, even Aaron Donald, I mean, listen, it's Aaron Donald. Yeah. I mean, he brings it every game. But I thought even the offense looked really good. Jared Goff looked comfortable behind an offensive line that was 30 out of 31 teams last year. They had a huge game. That's what we need to see out of them this season if they hope to get back in the playoffs this year. And you need a comfortable Jared Goff that can throw to Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods and get that offense going. So if this Rams team is going to make the playoffs this year and have another winning season, because even missing the playoffs last year, they finished 9-7, they just need to hope that offensive line is sustainable and their defense steps up. And I thought week 1 against the Cowboys, even with the Cowboys losing, Leighton Vander Esch, which, I mean, just terribly injury prone, and losing, their tight end, I thought the Rams really took it to them, and it could have been a lot more points for the Rams. But I think it just shows how good the defense is locked in. And Rams haven't gotten enough credit, and I think people are going to need to be on notice and see how good this Rams team is.
Absolutely. Quentin, what did you take away from this?
No, certainly. I would say that it was definitely a standout game for LA. I mean, just how Robert mentioned before, that offensive line was not very good last year, especially we were kind of saying, oh, is it Gurley, is it the line? And then especially we saw that Brown was eating. He was doing pretty good. And then it's just exciting just to see, because we know that Sean McVay, obviously he's a very type of a zone scheme type of runner. So then just to see the younger boys get incorporated, such as Darrell Henderson as well. So I believe that they're going to live and die by that run, set up the play action as they usually do, like we were talking about before, across the middle to Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, and Dallas. We know what happens to Dallas on Sunday and Monday nights. I mean, just every year, just the
primetime Dallas.
Yes, the expectation is so high. And then Amari Cooper, he's just too good of a wide receiver. I mean, this is coming from a diehard Eagles fan. He's just too good of a wide receiver to be held in check. Obviously Jalen Ramsey is a top 5 corner, but if you're paying him 5 years, $100 million, you would definitely expect a lot more production. CeeDee Lamb, of course, it was his first game. He's still trying to get incorporated in the offense a little bit more. But Dallas, they didn't look too good, particularly in situational football, especially on third down. I feel like they definitely left a lot of yards on the field. But hey, that's what they do.
That is what Dallas does. We are going to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll get into some college ball. Welcome back. We are going to get into some college football as we are now joined by Connor Dowd. Connor, you are the first reoccurring guest of this show. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great. It's a big title for me, and I'm happy to be a recurring guest. Excited to talk some college football with you guys.
Happy to have you. All right. So, college football is most of the way back now. We had a lot of the big boys playing this weekend. We saw statements by North Carolina with a big win over Syracuse. Statement by Clemson showing that they are on their way back to the college football playoff with a 37-13 primetime win over Wake Forest. Texas trying to fool us that they're back again with a 59-3 win. Still not ready to say Texas is back quite yet. The big upset of the week, Georgia Tech over FSU. FSU continues to disappoint their fan base. Connor, what did you take away from this?
I think it's just a culture thing at this point. Mike Norvell, the Jacksonville native, brought in first-year head coach. You think things are going to change, but when you put up 10 points in the first quarter, great start to the game.
Yeah, I thought maybe maybe they are back. Maybe.
Yeah, exactly. And then you're like, oh, they're kind of rolling. But when you put up 3 points in 3 quarters, you're just not going to win games against a Georgia Tech team. Second-year head coach Jeff Collins, big win on the road to start his season. And I don't see FSU changing. I don't know if it's an offensive thing. Their defense didn't play bad. Held them to 16 points. But, I mean, if it's offense, if it's coaching, I don't know. But FSU just needs a culture shift in their program.
Absolutely. Quentin, what do you think?
No, definitely. I do agree with that, because it seems like within the past few years, it's just kind of been like a revolving door of coaches. And then if we look at that, their game plan wasn't exactly the best. I mean, I do understand that they did get ahead. In the first quarter, actually, their true freshman quarterback from Georgia Tech did actually turn the ball over, and FSU was able to capitalize and get into the end zone. But just after that, they didn't look too good. I mean, the game plan, if you have Blackman throw the ball over 43 times, they're not going to win. They need to be able to feed the ball to their running backs with their transfer from Texas A&M. And their but on top of that, their offensive line didn't even look too good either. They were kind of shaky. And then on top of that, I just felt like they were just allowing Georgia Tech just to kind of claw their way back into the game, and they just ended up losing it.
Absolutely, and it's so frustrating to see because FSU has such great talent on their roster, but they can never translate it to the win column.
Yeah.
Let's get away from the ACC. Let's talk about some Big 12 ball. Lincoln Riley getting it done with another quarterback. Spencer Rattler, shocked. I guess not shocked. No surprise there. 14 for 17, 290 yards and 4 touchdowns. Connor, what did you think of this?
I mean, Oklahoma, they're an offensive team. The Big 12, it's an offensive conference in general. I think that when they come out first week against Missouri State, they beat them down. It's a great feeling for the guys, get their momentum going. The defense, I mean, letting up 0 points is pretty big in a first week game. I mean, in the Big 12 in general, I don't see a lot of competition for Oklahoma. Maybe Texas, maybe Baylor. We haven't seen them play yet. They play next week as their first game. So it'll be interesting to see how Oklahoma continues to play. And Charleston Rambo, the running back, had 2 TDs as well. That's big to get their ground game going as well as their passing game.
Absolutely. Quentin.
I mean, just Oklahoma. I mean, it's just an offensive firehouse right there. I mean, as we talked about Spencer Rattler, I just feel like at this point, any quarterback who puts on a Sooner uniform is going to be in Husby contention.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
look,
not just the transfers anymore.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So and then obviously they're very good at recruiting, and Lincoln Riley's just basically saying like, hey, if you're an offensive guy, this is the place to be. And I definitely think that Spencer Rattler is going to continue to impress. And as we talked about before, Rambo was looking good. Bims and Rambo, they both had a total of 80 yards 80 yards respectively through the air. So just keep on playing that air raid offense, and then they'll be able to outscore.
Absolutely. It's a great system. I'm convinced that I could throw 3 touchdowns for playing quarterback for Lincoln Riley. All right, so let's get into our school. UCF, season opener against Georgia Tech. Coming off a big road win against FSU, what do you guys expect to see from our Knights?
I think UCF needs to win this game for their season to go well. I think that they're ranked 14th right now in the polls. They need a big road win. We had 3 road losses last year, one against a Tulsa team who was much worse than we were. Dylan Gabriel just needs to find that sweet spot on the road. He needs to get comfortable playing in new environments. There's not going to be a lot of fans. He's not going to have to worry about crowd noise or anything of that nature. It'll be interesting to see how UCF plays without 10 players who opted out for the coronavirus. Taekwon, a key defensive back as well. I just think they need to win this game, and it'll be exciting to see Georgia Tech coming off the momentum, what they're going to be able to do against the Knights.
Absolutely. Quentin, you worked in UCF athletics. What do you expect to see from your Knights?
Oh man, I mean, I'm expecting to see a big W. I mean, I would say that the Knights, that they are able to beat Georgia Tech pretty handsomely. I just feel like, just with their offensive attack, that tempo, I don't know if Georgia Tech is exactly ready for it. Like, they do have a younger secondary. I just feel like that if UCF comes out, bombs away, if they get Trey Nixon involved, Marlon Williams, if they just get him going vertical, it's going to be a little tough for them to stop. And then obviously they'll have a little bit of a lead, and then just be able to run the ball, close the games out like how they have for the rest of how they did for the other seasons, such as Greg McCraig's coming back, looking for him to have a bounce back year. Thompson's going to be good, coming in as a sophomore, more of kind of just their power back. And of course, Otis Anderson can do it all in the running and passing game. So I definitely do feel like UCF does have a lot more offensive firepower than FSU. And if they do have a lead, don't expect them to blow it. Because
Absolutely. Yeah. I can't wait to see it. I hope they pound the rock, as we got a great stable of running backs. And I'm hearing Dylan Gabriel's bulked up quite a bit. So I'm expecting a big second-year jump as, at times, like we said, he struggled on the road. I'll give him the true freshman benefit of the doubt for now.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. He's freshman year, coming in second year. We expect big things from him.
No doubt.
Definitely. All right, guys, let's get into our of the weeks. Connor, who is your beast of the week?
My beast of the week is Alec Mills from the Chicago Cubs. Threw a no-hitter, 114 pitches, only 3 walks. In a game that they beat the Brewers 12-0, he is my beast of the week. A no-hitter in the coronavirus season is a big accomplishment for him. So, Alec Mills.
Great. Quentin, who is your beast of the week?
So my beast of the week is going to have to be DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, that man comes in first game in the Arizona Cardinals uniform, 14 catches, 151 yards, and I know that Texans fans are looking pretty sad right now. I mean, he's completely changed life for Kyler Murray. Expect him to kind of have a much better season, as we can see, especially in a recent trend in the NFL. The jump from year 1 to year 2 is exponential, especially with these younger quarterbacks. So DeAndre Hopkins is only going to help Kyler Murray get a lot better.
Absolutely. He just looks so much better than everybody else. That is an awesome beast. My beast of the week is Mr. Unlimited. Russell Wilson, 31 for 35, 322 yards and 4 touchdowns. Showed absolutely no signs of weakness. I think he was the best player of any game on Sunday. Connor, who is your bust of the week?
My bust of the week is former New England Patriots. Across the board have just been busts. I mean, Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski. Gronk had 2 catches for 11 yards. Just not a performance you see out of Gronk. His blocking wasn't that great either. And Steven Gostkowski missed 4 field goals, an extra point. He did make the game winner, but that does not excuse missing 3 easy field goals and an extra point. So my bust of the week is former Patriots.
Quentin, who is your bust of the week?
I mean, I hate to do it. It saddens my heart and soul. At first, I was just going to give it to one player, and then I thought, well, it's not all his fault. Maybe it's just his offensive line. But I had to serve it up for the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles are certainly my bust of the week because they just didn't look good at all. I mean, they lost to a football team with no name. And then on top of that, it's just like the Philadelphia Eagles, they had such high expectations. We're trying to see what this new look offense is going to look like with all the speed that's on the field, such as Deshaun Jackson, Jalen Reagor. Deshaun Jackson only played 54% of the snaps. The offensive line is banged up, injured. Carson Wentz was sacked 8 times, and he wasn't throwing the ball away. He was trying to force all these throws. Just the Philadelphia Eagles. How do you give up 27 unanswered points when you have a 17-0 lead to a team with no name at that? And before that, they had a 6-game winning streak against the Washington football team. That's a bust for me.
I love it. I'm frustrated for you. My bust of the week is Odell Beckham Jr. Guys, coming off a week where there were some rumors about a different kind of Browns, Odell Beckham only goes out and gets 3 catches for 22 yards. I was expecting a statement from Odell Beckham,
Certainly.
but, we can chalk it up to Baker, we can chalk it up to whatever, but he did not produce. Connor, who is your best of the week?
My best of the week is the Tampa Bay Lightning. They're absolutely thrashing the Islanders right now. They're up 3-1, 17-4 in the playoffs. Nikita Kucherov, Braden Point, each have 25 points. They're leading the NHL in points. John Cooper, after an embarrassing loss last year to Columbus in the first round, he's leading this team back to the Stanley Cup final. Hopefully they can beat the Islanders, play Dallas, and win the Stanley Cup. We'll see. It'll be interesting.
Awesome. Something to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
Quentin, who is your best of the week?
The best? I mean, I'm going to have to go with the team that's 1-0 right now in the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The 1-0 Jacksonville Jaguars.
1-0 Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, it's low-key kind of surprising that they even got to that one win because I know that a lot of people were saying that they would probably go 1-15, 2-14. We know the whole entire tank for Trevor situation, but I don't know. Gardner Minshew was looking good and maybe a little bit of fool's gold, just to start off the season. But that man went 19 for 20 for 3 touchdowns. And look at who they beat. They beat the Indianapolis Colts, who a lot of people predicted were actually going to maybe even represent the AFC South as far as the playoffs are concerned. So Jacksonville, they did have fans in the stands. It worked to their advantage, and they are my best of the week.
I love it. A curveball for the best of the week.
Yeah.
My best of the week is the Clemson Tigers. Coming off a year where they made the playoffs, made the national championship, that is, and losing some notable key pieces, Isaiah Simmons, they didn't miss a beat, showed no signs of weakness, rolled over Wake Forest 37-13, and frankly, I think they're a lock for the playoffs, steamrolling that easy ACC schedule.
Yeah, the only team that may beat them is Notre Dame, and
I don't see it.
Notre Dame just doesn't perform well in big
Yeah.
games, so I see Clemson going undefeated, winning the ACC, and getting into the playoff.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is all the time we have today. Thank you for watching. We will be back next week, same time.